Hi, my name is Leah Gray, and I thank you for this opportunity to share my story, as well as speak about how current laws are impacting many people in my community. Since childhood, I experienced significant discomfort with my gender, which is now known as gender dysphoria, and I also noticed I was experiencing same-sex attraction. And in my early 20s, I entered into lesbian relationships. Throughout these years, I had various mental health struggles, so I decided to seek help in dealing with these struggles, but I also desired to leave the lesbian life. So on my own accord, I went to my local GP in order to obtain a mental health care plan and hopefully seek therapy through a psychologist. Unfortunately, this was not the best experience, as this GP pressured me into revealing the somewhat personal nature in which I wanted to seek counsel. Once I revealed that I no longer wanted to live as a lesbian, he actually humiliated and intimidated me for ever attempting to seek help in this area. I guess this is a picture of the reverse of these so-called conversion practices, in that this GP attempted to keep me on a path that I didn't want to stay on. He told me that I should remain unchanged in an area of my life that I wanted to change. Despite this negative encounter, though, I did go on to pursue a therapeutic path that changed my life for the absolute best. And I'm so glad that I did, as 15 years on, I continue to live my best life. I'm happily married to my husband of 10 years, and we have 2 children that bring us incredible delight. And I'm living a life with immense joy, contentment, and stability. And I was able to get to this place because I eventually found counsel and support from psychologists, ministries, and just people who had walked similar journeys to me. And none of these avenues of support were ever harmful, coercive, or ineffective. The psychologist in particular was pivotal in helping me deal with what I was going through, and that enabled me to experience this newfound freedom in life that I still possess today. With these laws that are now in place in Victoria, while I'm very secure in my journey, I still live with a certain level of caution and vigilance as to who I share my journey with. It seems ridiculous to me that in a democratic society, I have to think twice about how openly I share this transformation that's happened in my life. And even sharing this with you makes me consider whether this actually puts a target on my back. And if I'm thinking this, then how much more are vulnerable people thinking this, who are crying out inside for someone to talk to? And yet these laws in this state prohibit them from doing so. Instead, these people are suffering in silence, enduring their unwanted feelings of same-sex attraction or gender dysphoria, and they're unable to receive support. In 2021, when the Victorian legislation was being passed, those in my community who had already been seeking support were genuinely fearful of what this legislation would mean for them. Many of them told me that they couldn't even bear to watch the news to hear if this legislation had passed because they were just too devastated by it. Many have reached out to me as well to ask if I know of any psychologists that would counsel them, and I have to inform them that such counselling no longer exists, and this has been incredibly disheartening for these people. These are the people who are now being marginalised. These are now the forgotten community. To conclude, stories like mine are shared by many, many people. Unlike what is commonly assumed and claimed, we are living proof that change is indeed possible, and professional counselling and faith-based counselling, support groups, prayer, and many other forms of help and support have been essential to our journeys. Banning this will be detrimental beyond what you can imagine to anyone who may want to access this at any point in their lives. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.